Yo, 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 hit 'em high, hit 'em low. Welcome to the No Bull Just Ball podcast. It is your boy Nick Hughes alongside Alex Delgado. How's it going, sir?
What up? What up?
Yeah,
How we
so
doing?
big stuff, big stuff. So we're gonna do our free agent episode. I'm sure everybody's seen in the thumbnail on YouTube. You've seen in the podcast description. But before we get into it, Alex, big thing this weekend. You
Yes,
just had a baby shower.
this is true.
New
This is
baby on
true.
the way. So ready, I'm gonna
Yes.
put you on the spot. We haven't done this. We were just chit-chatting before, but we haven't done this before. All right, gun to your head. You gotta invite one current major league player to your baby shower. Gun to your head. Who is it?
Oh, probably Aaron Judge. Probably would.
Ooh,
Seems like a good addition. You know what I'm saying? Keep it classy.
okay. That's pretty nice. Not biased at all.
No.
All right. So with the lockout going the way it is,
Yes.
we got some time to kill, but I think, I don't know about you, but I'd rather say sort of the
I will
season.
also say, put on the record, the baby will probably be here before spring training starts. Actually, hold on. Before the pitchers and catchers report.
Wow. You're really a
Yes.
you're just man, you just don't want to see baseball. That's different.
No, I do, but like this is just ridiculous.
And I think we'll save like the CBA specifics, if
For
possible.
next episode.
Either next episode or I was going to say I'm trying to be optimistic and say they'll figure it out within the next couple of weeks. We'll do it once they figure it out. We'll do the CBA of like this is what they finally agreed on. This is what one side was asking for. This is what the other, and this is where they came in the middle, and how we feel about it kind of deal. But so for today, we're doing the free agents, and what we mean by that is the remaining free agents, the guys who are still left out there, lockout going.
Of
And
the crop.
absolutely. So we're going to start exactly. Cream of the crop is our first inning here. So go ahead. I'm gonna let you start it out. We got Carlos Correa. Obviously is the top guy coming into free agency. We all know it. We talked about him on the last episode, signing now with skipping my mind for a second.
Your boy Scott Boras.
My boy Scott Boras. So Carlos Correa, where do you got him going?
Carlos Correa. All right. I see two likely destinations.
Mm-hmm.
One, I know this one hurts because I'm a Yankee fan, but I don't think the Yankees will actually get Correa.
Yeah.
I think Correa will either sign with Detroit.
Okay.
Detroit's trying to make some moves.
Okay.
Because that's an open division. I mean, they can maybe pull a wild card, maybe top White Sox if they make some moves. You don't know.
Yeah.
Also, though, I also see Correa possibly staying with Houston.
Ooh, okay.
Houston tries. They try to make some moves to make it work, and they try to make another push for the World Series. I think they'll try. They probably have it like a maybe 2 more year window.
Okay.
And then they got to figure it out from there.
Okay, so who's your one? Where is he at?
Detroit, because they got the money.
Tigers. Okay. So here's the question then. Who's playing shortstop?
Correa.
Ooh.
You're signing him for the big money.
Okay.
But there's wiggle room there after a couple of years. See what happens.
Okay, so wait. So it's Javi.
Baez played second with.
Yeah, he played second with Lindor. But I was just gonna ask: is he playing second or is he playing third on your team?
I'm putting Baez at second. Let them two work. You know what I'm saying? When they were in the classic, when they all were in the classic together,
Look, man, that was different. The 2017 World Baseball Classic, Team Puerto Rico, greatest infield ever assembled.
That's what I'm saying. How about you? What are you thinking?
Okay. I can see the Tigers.
Okay.
The Yankees, I think, increasingly are looking like a long shot. I think the other teams, I'm going to be honest, I don't see the return to the Astros just because I think where the money's at now. I see, and we'll talk about it in a second. I see the Astros spending slightly differently.
Yeah, yeah.
And I mean very slightly, and we'll get to that in a second. But I have ultimately, and the other team I think would be in play is the Dodgers. But the team that I ultimately have going to is the Chicago Cubs.
Oh,
And the rationale is the Cubs have the money to spend. And I know we just had the whole, they just blew up their 2015 or 2016 World Series core. They just blew that whole thing up. But I think they tipped their cap. They what's the word? The expression they showed their hand when you go out and you sign a guy like Marcus Stroman for
yeah.
4 years in the prime of his career, maybe the tail end of his prime. You go out and get this guy for 4 years. I think you're making a certain kind of statement about what we expect to be doing in these 4 years. That's not a you know rebuilding effort move. That's not what you do. So this is a team that thinks they can contend with the Cardinals, the Brewers at the top of the division. So the only rationale then is, all right, we're going to go make a big we're going to go spend the money, make a big splash. And in my head, Carlos Correa sliding it at short, and you move Nico Horner to third. You go Nick Madrigal over at second.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, you got they got the Howard hitting third baseman I like a lot. He slots over to first. Schwindel in the event of a DH in the NL thing, is now there. I think they have enough young pieces to attract them. I think the money will be there, and Chicago outside of New York and LA is another big market that is on the table, and it's
I
a,
like it.
not for nothing. I think it's a winnable division, so they have every right
Oh,
to.
definitely a winnable
That
division.
the NL Central is always going to be a hotly contended, division, and the Cubs have every right to believe they can contend.
Yeah.
I like what I've seen out of their young guys, and the addition of Correa as like a middle of the order, and obviously up the middle guy. I mean, it's not the end all be all. It's not the thing that takes you over the hump, but it's the thing that definitely picks you up a good deal.
Oh yeah. No,
And that's
definitely.
where I got Correa going. We're gonna stay with shortstops now. We're gonna skip over to Trevor Story, and this one's a little heartbreaking. And I already, I showed my hand a little bit here. I have Trevor Story not going to the New York Yankees, which is what I was hoping for. But I had to go with not so much my heart on this one. I had to go with the mind frame, the mindset. Uh, I have the Astros losing Carlos Correa
Yep.
and realizing, hey, there's another guy we could pay a little bit less to, who's a Texas native, who would want to go play some meaningful winning baseball and a winnable division. And I have Trevor Story bypassing a return to the Rockies. He might flirt with the Blue Jays, Angels a little bit. Obviously, the Yankees will be, sort of finishing two here. But I have Trevor Story going to the Houston Astros.
Nice. No, I can see
No,
it.
it's not
Especially if they
nice,
lose,
but I
especially if
hate
they
it.
lose Correa, as long as he doesn't sign first. You know?
It's one of those. It's even if I'm going to be honest, even if Correa is still out there, I could see the Astros just saying, "Hey, we realize we're out of this bidding war. We're not going to be able to contend with the bigger markets here, and just not so much tuck your tails, but realize, hey, there's another alternative who's not getting the love there."
Yeah.
Yeah, where you got him going?
Ooh, Trevor Story. All right, so my inner Yankees coming out, right?
Mm,
So I do see the Yankees losing Correa. And then when they realize that and Story is still on the market, they will probably pay more for Story than anybody else. Maybe he still had
okay,
maybe the new Steinbrenner has a little old Steinbrenner.
maybe
Maybe
he
he
does.
does just sign the check and say, hey, we need somebody out there. I
Okay.
don't see Torres being the guy. Maybe they use Torres for a little bit trade bait, but I do see Trevor Story going to the Yankees.
Okay.
But if it is not the Yankees, I actually think the Angels make a huge play.
Yeah.
I think the
I
Angels do make a huge play. They're trying, you know what I'm saying? They're trying to compete in that West, which now Oakland, I think Oakland's going to deal some pieces. They see the West and they're like, okay, now's our time to back out.
oh, for sure.
Because that's how Oakland runs.
Of course. And then they'll
You know, they were
really
hot
be
for a good second, but
yeah.
no, I see it being maybe an Angels Astros type of West race this year.
Okay. Okay. All right. I like where that's at. Yeah, I have the Angels on my list here. The only thing with the Angels for me, and I don't want to again show my cards too early here, but I have them playing very heavy in the pitching market.
Yes,
So
yes, they
I
already
think that's
showed their hand in that
yeah.
early before this
So
lockout started.
I think for me that continues. So I don't have them so much going too crazy for Trevor Story here. But we'll move on to our next big guy, and that's going to be Kris Bryant.
Ooh, now this is a good one.
This is a tough one for me because I feel like the next three guys we talk about is Kris Bryant, Kyle Schwarber, Nick Castellanos.
Castellanos.
And I feel like all three, like the markets are very wide. Like
Yes.
Kris Bryant's a guy who could play third base for you, could play first base for you, could play any of the outfield positions. There isn't a team in baseball who does not need a Kris Bryant.
That's what I'm saying. Strong arm, has power, can
Yeah.
hit for contact,
Yeah.
can play center field when you need him to.
So where do you have Kris Bryant?
Kris Bryant. Now, it depends on what the NL West wants to do.
Okay.
But I think he stays out west.
Ooh, okay.
And with the first team that he stays out west is Seattle.
Ooh, okay.
I think Seattle might make a play for him. They recently had a third baseman that retired. They need a little pop with the younger team that they got. Seeing the West, maybe they seem they can make a push in the later years. Sign him 5-year contract. I think Kris Bryant, if it's not Seattle, I think he stays with the Giants.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm gonna throw a little wrinkle in there. I have the Mariners. I have a return to the Giants, but the team ultimately I see Kris Bryant joining is going to be a Nevada reunion with his longtime boy, Bryce Harper, Philadelphia Phillies.
Okay.
So they are a team who, I mean, essentially every position except right field right now for the Phillies is a lock. Right field, second base with Gene Segura. Riz Hoskins can float a little bit, but this is a team that needs a lot. You have Bryce Harper. You want to contend. And I'm going to be honest, I have the Phillies. I'm looking up and down my list as I'm talking to you here. And I'm saying I have the Phillies in on a lot of guys.
Yeah.
Because, I think I say this every year in some capacities. This is not you have, easily a top 5 player in Major League Baseball, Bryce Harper. And, we can get into the whole, is he underrated? Is he overrated thing? We can do that all day. But ultimately, he's a very good baseball player. You have him signed now, 11 years left on the deal.
Yeah.
You have to contend, and you got to keep him happy. And his best friend joining the team, who also happens to be a very good baseball player who can play a lot of positions for you. I think ultimately it has to be Kris Bryant joining this team. And I think the Phillies will go, sort of the extra mile here on making that happen.
Honestly, I do see the Phillies making a play on a couple other guys.
Oh yeah, no. I have them in on a lot of guys. I have them getting one more. So we're gonna move on here. We're gonna jump down to Kyle Schwarber.
Nice. I'll keep it short. I'll keep it simple with him.
Okay.
He's most likely gonna DH, either play first or left.
Yeah.
Most likely DH though.
Okay.
So if the NL does get a DH,
okay,
I think Schwarber will go to the Phillies.
Ooh,
I think the Phillies would make a play for Kyle Schwarber.
You know what I'm saying?
Kind of counteract a little lefty with Harper. You know what I'm saying? They do make another play for another another right-handed bat a little later down the line. We'll talk about that one.
Okay.
But I think Kyle Schwarber would go to the Phillies. If it's not, if the NL doesn't get the DH, I honestly think the Red Sox sign him to another 1 year.
There it is. I have him staying.
I think they really would.
I think he has that, as much as his bat was made for Yankee Stadium, I think the attitude, sort of the hijinks and stuff, it's very Boston.
Very.
We saw him there at the end of the season there after the trade deadline. It was this weird, Rizzo goes to New York, Schwarber goes to Boston, but their bats were made for the opposite thing. It almost, I mean, not to over state their talents, but it's almost DiMaggio and Ted Williams in a sense
Yes.
of like, their bats were made for the opposite ballpark, but the personalities really, sort of fit where they actually ended up. And Schwarber, I have the Brewers in contention for him, a team that always needs a first baseman. I could see
Actually,
the
the
Yankees.
Cardinals too.
Yeah, the
And the
Cardinals
Cardinals.
needing a left-handed bat. I have the Yankees. I have a return to the Cubs as a possibility. So there's a lot of teams that could be in on them, but ultimately I have them into the Red Sox. I think it was a good fit. I think it was something everyone enjoyed, and if the money's there, I don't see it. And then another guy who I think is more definitively a DH, and because of it, I'm curious to see where you go with this. I'm going to tell you flat out. This is my second big Phillies play is Nick Castellanos. I see the Phillies, I see them having Harper. I have them signing Bryant. And I see them, I think their money should be better spent in a bullpen.
Yeah.
However, I see the Phillies saying, at the very least, we're going to go out and get the lineups that can haunt the rotation of the Mets and the Braves.
Yes. Yep.
So I could see them going after a guy like Nick Castellanos to be their designated hitter when the National League gets their designated hitter this year. I mean, we're assuming, but seems to be sort of where we're trending. So, a few other teams in play. I think there's another favorite also in the same division. I don't want to steal a shine from you, but I don't know if you got it, but go ahead. And then I'll throw out who else I had on this list here. But
no, it's all good. So Castellanos, I actually had the Phillies and play with him. You know what I'm saying? He could play a little first, play a little third, play a little right. He does have a solid arm. Yeah, his glove's a little suspect, but you saw what he could do in Cincinnati and right. I mean, you can.
Yeah, for sure.
So I do have him staying. There's two teams in the National League. Since he might re-sign him, since he wants to try to make a play, because I do have maybe one or two guys on our list, maybe going to Cincy if they make a play for Castellanos, and that's the only. You know what I'm saying? That's the only if. Yeah. If they sign Castellanos, then I see them making another move. If they don't sign Castellanos, then since he's taking their step back like they do like Pittsburgh does. But I do see the Phillies making a huge play. Now, like you said, he's primarily a DH. I actually see a reunion here. I see if Correa goes to Detroit, I think Castellanos might go to Detroit too.
Wow.
Detroit might be trying to make it a play. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, haunt some bullpens.
I would love to a batting order that now features Castellanos, Baez, Miguel Cabrera, Carlos Correa. Ooh, that is Akil Baddoo had an incredible rookie year. That's scary.
Yes, that's scary. That's what I'm saying. I think Detroit makes a play here.
See, you have Detroit doing what I have the Phillies doing of just like stockpiling the bats. Okay, so we're on the same page. Different guys, but we're gonna. The other team I had for Castellanos was the Miami Marlins. He's a Florida native, and the pitching is such a huge part of what they have already. Homegrown pitchers. They just re-signed Sandy Alcantara. They got a ton of. Their rotation stacked. Some of these guys are going to move into the bullpen, and I can't see them not transitioning well. So I'm curious to see sort of where that goes, but I saw the Marlins being for me, backup of a team who can make the move. It's the homegrown thing, it's the no income tax thing, and really trying to sign a bat there. And we're gonna move into our middle innings, and we're actually gonna start with another bat.
Yep, good one at that.
Well, no, I'm actually gonna have a start here with. I guess easily the biggest question mark. Okay. It's a little different than the notes I sent you. The biggest question mark I have is a guy we literally have not seen play Major League Baseball. Seiya Suzuki out of Japan.
Ooh, okay. I like this one.
So This is a weird one because again, you're going, I've seen highlights, I've seen, a couple of clips. Obviously, we've seen the stats, the numbers. It translates as, everyone says at least a good power bat can hit for average. But ultimately his glove is going to be outstanding from what we understand.
Yeah.
Can play all three outfield positions. Already into his late 20s, I believe. So, the
Yeah.
question mark, I
He's
think that becomes,
27,
yeah,
26.
no, I think he's a 27, 28, something like
Okay,
that, if
okay.
I'm not mistaken. Um, so the question mark is, if he's a center fielder for a team, how long is he a center fielder? How big, long the contract does he want? I think that's something of a wrinkle when I was doing this. I'm just going to go ahead and just throw out. I have him signing with the San Francisco Giants.
I like that. I had that. They were on my list.
Yes,
They were.
I see them as a team who's not ready despite Buster Posey retiring. They just brought back Bill Crawford. They brought back Belt. They're not, I don't think, neither of us have them bringing back Bryant, but being in play for him.
Yes.
They're not ready to give up, in the NL West. They see it as a winnable division. Dodgers, got a chink in the armor.
Yeah.
Um,
They
and
need a center
I see him
fielder.
as a perfect fit. You throw him out there with Lamont Wade, the
Yep.
extra
And
copy out
Yastrzemski.
there. Yastrzemski,
I like that.
Dubon out there. So it's a good outfield rotation. Then you don't have to worry. He can slot in left. He can slot in center. He can slot in right. It's a big ballpark, but I think it gap power plays well for him, and he has enough of a motor on him where he can turn a few of those gappers into doubles, triples. He's gonna do all right for himself in a bigger ballpark.
Definitely.
About that. So where do you got him going?
Ooh. So I do have the Yankees in play. I do.
Yeah. No,
Yankees
for
are
sure.
making a play. But I actually think the Angels. I think he will land with the Angels. I think so. It'll help, Otani with him, show him the ropes, how to
Okay.
play, how to be in the major leagues. I think it'll help, a little familiarity with him.
Wow.
But
Okay. I like
also
that.
too, I think someone might be in his ear. I think Seattle.
Yeah. I see Seattle. I
I see
see. I mean,
Seattle trying to make
obviously.
a big play for him.
Yeah. I
He
see
can play. He
Seattle.
can play right.
Yeah. The other team I was talking about a ton earlier, I have the Phillies in on them because they need a center fielder.
Mhm.
Again, the Cubs are going to be, I think, big players going forward. The Angels are an interesting one for me. So do
Yeah.
you have him with Trout in center?
Yeah.
Obviously,
Trout.
Justin Upton returning. You got a couple of young guys out there. So do you have him?
I think with Upton, you could try to. He'll play a little more DH.
Okay. So do you have,
I think he'll rotate. I think they'll try to keep Trout
yeah,
healthy. Trout will play a little DH. He doesn't have to be out there crashing into the
okay.
walls.
So you have Otani playing a lot more right field.
Yeah, yeah, little, yeah.
Okay. I'm so against
I
Otani
think
now.
I think if he has one more injury while pitching, I think he's done pitching.
Okay.
Could
I'm
just that
just,
bat, you can't you
yeah.
that bat is just amazing, and he can
I
play a
Yeah,
very good outfield.
but I think at least
He's a
for
good
rank.
pitcher, but I think he will have one more pitching injury this year, and that'll be it.
Wow.
I think I'm sorry.
Oh
I'm
God.
sorry. We would hate to see
I
it.
was gonna say that was gonna be a whole nother podcast episode. Is he the face of baseball? And you're killing him already. My
No. I'm not saying if baseball can market him, yes.
wow.
He would be a
Okay.
great marketable, even just in the outfield in his bat alone. I mean,
Okay.
it's a good hitter. I think
Okay.
just just from the history alone, I mean, I
Okay.
think if he has one more pitching injury, I'm saying a major one,
Okay.
I'm saying not a little, not a
No,
little sore
I get what
shoulder
you
or a
I
little like
yeah.
bone spur in the elbow. I'm thinking like he has a major wrist injury, a major rotator cuff. You know,
Okay.
I think he would consider stopping pitching and just focusing on his bat and his defense.
Okay.
'Cause that bat is nice.
I mean, I don't disagree.
With the Angels making a lot of pitching moves, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, for sure.
I
I
can
mean,
see it happening.
I think I'm just in shock. I
I
didn't have
mean,
you as a Otani
I'm,
killer. But
what do you mean?
speaking
Look
of
at me.
speaking of injuries, we're gonna go now to a guy who on this list, we're finally going to have a pitcher. And with the pitcher, we're going to go with Carlos Rodon, a guy who has been troubled with injuries, but had
Yes.
a crazy bounce back. And now, for my money, after Scherzer comes off the board, I think easily Rodon becomes, he slots into that role of, Syndergaard is in that ilk also. I should say Kevin Gossman, same thing, of
Yes.
guys who were a little bit of question marks, but now you look at them and you go, okay, they're in line for a big contract. We saw Syndergaard get the 1 year, 21 mil with the Angels.
Yep.
And to that same sort of degree, I have Carlos Rodon also going to the Angels, joining that rotation.
Okay.
This is their big splash for me. I think Rodon, unlike Syndergaard, who wants to prove it deal, I think Rodon is a little more conscious of sort of where he's at in his career. I think he wants, minimum 3 years. I have the Angels giving him 4 to 5. And that's going to be the difference where the Angels, you have Trout locked up long term. So they're not going to be scared of giving other guys long term deals to fit alongside their long term.
Yes.
And Carlos Rodon fitting into that rotation. The thing with Ohtani, to sort of backtrack, as a pitcher, Shohei Ohtani is good to great, but because of his, offensive capabilities, Ohtani's forced to be he's a bat in the lineup, so he cannot pitch every fifth.
Yes.
And if he is your best pitcher on your roster or your ace, not pitching every 5 days is detrimental to you winning a division, making a playoffs, and making a playoff run.
Yep.
So he needs to be your second, third option. And now I have the Angels essentially bumping Ohtani down in their rotation, or however you want to play. You throw him out on Ohtani, who cares? But I have him going Ohtani with Syndergaard and Rodon, and now those are your two work. God willing that they can stay healthy this time, but I have that sort of pairing there. What do you got for Rodon?
I do. I do see the Angels making a play for Rodon, but I think they actually sign another lefty that's on our list, and we'll get there.
Okay. Wow.
Yes. But
okay, go ahead.
I actually Rondon. I think Chicago might try to make a play. They did, what I'm saying? He was one of the only pitchers really that pitched really well for them in the playoffs.
Okay, so the White Sox. All right.
Yes, my bad. Yeah, the Chicago.
No, all good.
My bad. I know, because you were thinking another Chicago. He might.
Yeah, I was gonna say I wouldn't be.
I mean, they threw the money at Stroman. They might do the same if they're trying to make a play. I do see the Cubs in there. I think the Cubs are in the top 5 of trying to get them. Yankees are a name. But actually, this is where I actually think he will land. I think he'll land with the Phillies.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, I think the Phillies make a play for this. Try to, bolster that bullpen. Try to.
Oh, because you move. Was it at that point you move Ranger Suarez out to the bullpen?
Yes.
And then your top 3 goes Nola, Wheeler, Rodon.
Yes. You know what I'm saying? That East is a beast. I mean,
that NL East is going to be ridiculous.
You're going to need the pitching now.
Yeah.
Because the Mets didn't. I mean, with the Mets losing Syndergaard, they didn't. I mean, they improved with losing Syndergaard. I mean, I don't know how you do that, but they did it.
Yeah.
So
agreed.
Yeah. So that's where actually I think Rendon will go.
Okay. Wow. All right. And we're gonna stick with pitchers, and we're gonna stick with a lefty pitcher.
Yes, and I will come back to that.
Wow.
I think the Angels I think he stays in LA, but I think he goes to Anaheim.
Wow. And we're of course talking about Clayton Kershaw, a lifelong Dodger, and you have him staying in LA, but moving he doesn't even have to move at that point. He just gotta.
It's like a half-hour drive. He's good. Yeah.
Wow. That's a big play. I have them in it.
Yes.
I have 2 geographic areas making a play for Clayton Kershaw. It is the LA area, and I have Dodgers retaining, Angels signing, and then I have him going back to his hometown and home state. I have the Astros making a play.
Ooh.
because they like their old arms. They love their Verlander. They love their Greinke.
Yes.
I though have him signing with his hometown Texas Rangers.
Oh, okay. They
In
were up on my
Texas,
list, but
I think Texas started things out. Simeon, Seager,
yep.
they put the bats in their lineup. They added John Gray. John
Yep.
Gray cannot be your ace.
No.
And I think everyone in the AL West thinks they can win the AL West.
Yes.
I'm going to be honest, even Oakland, when they sell a house, Oakland is the best when you don't know who's on there. Let's just be upfront and frank about that.
On base percentage, baby.
I don't
Only
know
way
what's
you
in the
score, you get on base.
whatever it is. But I think everybody out west sort of thinks that they can make a play this year in the AL West. And I think the Rangers realize we need one more pitcher. We need one more big-time guy. We need a guy who can carry us for a season. And despite the fact that he's coming off injury, I see the Rangers more desperate to sign is what it's also ultimately going to come down to for me. I see them more desperate to sign Kershaw than the Dodgers are to retain with the rotation that they already have in place. I think that's going to be the tipping point for me is I think Rangers are going to want it more.
Yes. I think the Rangers are in play, but we have another name on the list that when we get the Sandman theme going, we'll talk about that I think would be in play with the Rangers. And I think I think they do throw Kershaw money, but I think Anaheim would give him the longer contract.
Ooh, okay. I can see that.
Yes.
I can see that.
And that's why, he's comfortable in LA. He likes to pitch out in LA.
That's fair.
Right.
That's fair. And we're going to stick with another, at least I guess we'll see whether it's a former Dodgers pitcher or a continuing Dodgers pitcher. It's Kenley Jansen, closer.
Yes.
For my money, has been over the course of the post Mariano era. Let's frame it that way.
Okay.
Last 2 years, we have Liam Hendricks, we have lefty out in Josh Hader in Milwaukee. Obviously better arms and better down the stretch. Kenley Jansen, though, consistency in the ninth inning, post Mariano. I don't think anyone can disagree with sort of what he has been for the Dodgers, how crucial he has been to their success. And I, for that reason, have him sticking around in LA with the Dodgers. I see them, they have their bullpen pieces already, but I see them rewarding Kenley Jansen for his years of service out there and not wanting him to stray. Yeah. They have their Tommy Kahnle still. They have Blake Treinen. They have I'm trying to think who else they the Gratterall. I never know how to say his last name. The kid they got from the Twins turned out to be.
Yes.
So they got pieces out
there. Yeah. And they do have a lot of good talent that's in the minors too that they always bring up.
Oh yeah. So
that they will bring up.
They do have their good pieces, but I look at it and I say they're going to still want their consistency in the ninth inning, sort of give them, I don't see a long-term deal, but I see them paying him pretty well for a contract until he loses it. It's his job.
Yes, I think I would agree with you on that one.
Okay.
I would. I actually, I feel like 80% Kenley Jansen stays with the Dodgers. I think so.
Okay. So can I ask what's your 20?
Philadelphia.
Ooh, I love that. That was my number 2 there.
I think Philly might offer him just a little more dough than LA.
Okay.
And they're ready to compete, and that's if they make some moves. You know what I'm saying? They need some help out there.
So my thing is, I have Philly as my number 2. And then in my number 3, 4 sort of dark horse spots that I really was tempted to go with, I have the Toronto Blue Jays.
Yes. Yep.
And then I have the stars of the first half of free agency, I guess we could call it, the New York Mets.
Okay.
Saying this is the one thing we have not spent money on yet. Let's go get
Yeah.
a bullpen guy. But we're gonna stay then in the NL East, transitioning from the Mets, and we're gonna go Freddie Freeman
Yes, this is
as our
a
sort of
name that has
last.
been coming up in the last couple weeks.
Yes, and this is one of those. I'm not a Braves fan. I am a baseball fan.
Yep.
Um, I it tugs in my heartstrings. I know the Yankees are in play. I
Yeah.
know the Dodgers are in play.
Yes.
I for my heart cannot see Freddie Freeman leave the.
No, I don't see it either. I think he uses the Yankees just to up the cash a little bit.
Yeah, same with the
And then,
Dodgers.
and then he stays with the Braves. I think the Braves can't lose him. The Braves can't afford to lose Freddie Freeman.
It's one of those. If Freddie Freeman walks, I'm gonna be totally honest. It
I
is
just don't.
entirely the fault of the Atlanta.
As a franchise, I don't understand how you win the World Series and then don't go sign Freddie Freeman.
Oh, don't get me wrong. For him, this is the best time for him to walk.
Yeah, no, I think so. But why would you walk when you just won the World Series with the team that still wants?
Well, it's. I'm
They've
gonna say
shown
same.
that they want to compete
Well, that's the
and they
thing.
have
I'm
good
gonna say
pieces.
they have good pieces. They have good young pieces. I don't
Yeah.
disagree. I'm just saying if the money is the same, and this is where sort of the players' personal lives come into play here. He's a
Mhm.
California guy, a Southern California guy.
Yeah.
He has a very young son who's about to start school for the first time. You can play in Atlanta for let's say a 6-year contract.
Yes.
Your kid's only 11. And then you're uprooting him when you retire to go back to Southern California anyway. The optics of just the family life, the personal play is for LA, just objectively. I do not want to see it happen, but if there was ever a time for it to happen, I think this is where
Okay.
I won an MVP. I just won you guys your first World Series since the 90s. I did what I had to do here. I can walk. If there's ever a time for Freddie Freeman to feel that way, this is it.
Yeah.
And again, I have him sticking around. Let me be clear. But to play devil's advocate, you couldn't be mad at the guy.
No.
You can only
For
be mad
going.
at.
No.
I'm gonna be honest. I can only be mad at the Braves. If it comes down to it, we hear all right, Freddie Freeman to the Dodgers. Freddie Freeman. I don't really see the Yankees as like the real option.
No. I think they may make a play for somebody else.
Yeah,
But,
I also have that. Not on this, but I have them, making the play.
I have a guy in play, but
Oh
we'll
wow,
talk about him
okay.
later.
All right, and with that, we're gonna move into the closer segment here. We're gonna go our make or break guys, and we're gonna start with the guy I think you're talking about. Could be wrong. It's Anthony Rizzo. You muted yourself there.
Oh, my bad.
All good.
It's technology. So yeah, lefty bat, good kid. I think he came along, helped the Yankees.
Okay.
Yankees needed the lefty bat. He can get on base. He could take that walk. I think the Yankees do make a play for him to play first base, little DH. Really good first baseman. I mean, you can't knock this kid's glove. I mean,
Absolutely.
he's really, really good. I think if the Yankees do retain Rizzo, I think they use Voit in a trade.
Yeah, no, agreed.
But with the signing of Stroman, with Chicago thinking they can still compete,
Wow.
I think they do with Rizzo what the Yankees did with Chapman. I think he goes back to Chicago. I really do. Yeah.
Can I be honest? We're on the same vein here in a different way. I also have Anthony Rizzo returning to an old because I think the Yankees are going to make a play elsewhere, and it's via trade, so it's not going to be on this episode. But we can do a different episode about it. I have him returning to an old team, his original team in the major league.
I like it.
The San Diego Padres.
Yeah, that's possible.
They have made no secret about trying to shop Eric Hosmer.
Mm-hmm.
They want out of that deal. Other teams, the Rangers have been linked to him. A couple others, not thinking off the top of my head here. But the
Red Sox.
Padres, yeah, the Padres are going to be in play here, especially if they feel they have a deal on the table to move Hosmer. They're going to need a first baseman.
Mhm.
And Anthony Rizzo, good glove. At this point in his career, you're expecting him to, like you said, get on base, provide a little bit of pop, but ultimately be a clubhouse guy. I think they got a lot of young guys. He knows what it's like to get there and be there kind of thing, with the World Series and everything. He's the kind of veteran leadership that can take a Padres team over the top.
Yeah, I like that. If the Padres sign him, I mean,
Yeah, that's
the West is going to be a nice one to watch.
the alternative, and I hate the alternative, is I had the Red Sox.
Yeah, I think they make the play, but
Yeah,
I don't
I
think he
hated that
would.
one.
I think he would choose Chicago over the Red Sox.
Yeah, no, fingers crossed. I didn't like where my head was at.
Also, I'm hoping that he chooses Chicago over the Red Sox.
Fair,
He had to
absolutely
make
fair.
a choice.
All right, so up next, we're gonna go with our last pitcher for the day, and then we got a couple more batters to get through.
Yes.
So our last pitcher for the day is Yusei Kikuchi.
Yes.
Once upon a time, former Seattle Mariner, former Japanese baseball pitcher. Once upon a time, I was going to say, the highly touted contract. Everybody was in on him. I have him going to a team, and I think you and I were in a similar boat on sort of the Japanese allegiance, the Japanese player allegiance, and looking for comfort in one another kind of thing.
Yes.
I have Yusei Kikuchi also joining the rotation of the Los Angeles Angels.
I like that.
Fourth starter. And I think, him slotting in with Shohei Ohtani as a, sort of a friend, confidant, somebody he can get along with, somebody who he has seen have success out in LA. And also they have the need.
Yeah, no, they do.
If nothing else, man, the draft last year where they drafted nothing but pitchers. This year I have them spending money now exclusively on pitchers. They know what the world has been saying about them for years. They have bats and pitch.
Yep.
So I have them taking that extra step. In addition to, I have Carlos Rodon going. I now have Yusei also signing with the Angels and really building a formidable out there. God willing, they can all stay healthy.
No, they would need the lefties to combat Houston. They really would. Houston got some powerful lefties.
Go ahead. Who you got?
So I got him actually. I actually have the Rangers making a huge play for him.
Ooh, okay.
I do.
I like that one. I have them on my list.
Rangers got the bats. They need a pitcher.
Okay.
Not a likely destination for some big name pitchers, stuff like that.
Okay.
But they're familiar with him. He's familiar with the West.
Yeah.
He has a career, I think it was like a 4.5 ERA ish.
Yeah.
The West has some bigger outfields. I think he would stay with the Rangers. I think the Rangers, he would definitely help that rotation, help them make a play. I think the Rangers make a huge play for him.
I like that. I really do. I like that. I think you and I are on the same boat of, sort of the Angels, Rangers, really want to make plays, for pitching. And, again, the AL West is, I think, another very up grabs division.
Yes.
AL West, NL Central, I think for me.
It'll be competitive.
Those are going to be highly competitive, highly contentious divisions. And on this next one, we're going to move over now to the NLCS MVP, Eddie Rosario.
Yes.
A guy who I think he is a free agent 2-3 years ago, initially.
Signed with Cleveland.
Huh?
When he was a free agent. Signed with Cleveland.
He was a free agent. He ended up signing with Cleveland.
Got hurt.
Yes, got hurt. Did not go well after his great stint with the Twins. I have him being valued appropriately by the Atlanta Braves, and they keep him around to play left field.
I think that was my number one on the list was the Braves, but there is a close second.
Ooh, what do you got on the close second?
Close second. I actually had the Brewers in play for him.
That was my second.
That was my close second because
Yeah.
I also see the Brewers with Kikuchi.
Okay.
The
See, for me,
Brewers were number 3 with Kikuchi for me.
okay. So for me, Eddie Rosario, the fit with the Braves is obvious.
Yes.
I think they have Marcell Ozuna, if I'm not mistaken, for another year, where he can be sort of, a DH type role for them going forward. Eddie Rosario, though, fits the defensive corner outfield need alongside Christian Yelich. I think most people expect to have a bounce back year.
Yes, I think he definitely will.
But I ultimately, though, it's gonna be the Brave.
Yep.
Yeah, it has to be.
I think they would.
And this,
It's a need for him.
oh, for sure. And just sort of a sneak preview here. I also have the next two bats also staying in the NL East.
Yes, I only have one of those staying in the NL East.
Okay, so we're gonna go next to Michael Conforto.
Yes.
Of the New York Mets. For my money, going to be one of the more curious cases in terms of the fit. He's a corner outfield guy through and through. I think depending on what the NL does with the DH and everything, there's some teams who could make a play for him in that role. But I think he's a good enough outfielder to hold his own.
Oh, for sure. Compared to, he's definitely better than a few that are out there that I think he would retain over.
Okay. So where do you got him going?
Me, I actually, if the Phillies don't make a play, I had the Phillies making a play for him. Okay. But if the Phillies don't make a play for him, I actually think the Mets, actually.
Okay.
Or this one, the Red Sox.
Ooh, okay. So
as much as it pains me, I know the Red Sox made a play for Jackie Bradley Jr., but I think Michael Conforto would actually help that lineup out a little bit.
Yeah.
I think they would make a play for him because they lost Kyle Schwarber.
Yeah.
So.
Gotcha. Okay. I like that. For me, I have him staying in the NL East. Neither of the teams you mentioned. I have him actually going, and fittingly, I'm wearing the hat right now. I have him going to the Washington Nationals.
Yes.
All right. So Michael Conforto to the Washington Nationals. I feel like he's young enough still where you can give him sort of a 6-7 year contract. Pair him alongside Juan Soto for the long term.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's both lefty bats, but they're both lefty bats who play well on lefty arms, I should say. They have the ability to really just be a force, long term. I think Conforto needs to move on from the Mets, sort of get a fresh start. Yeah. And unfortunately, I have him becoming a Mets killer as a result. He's going to be a force. The Nationals aren't going to be players in the immediate future, but he still remains young enough where he can definitely be that for them still going forward and sort of build now a lineup around the him and Soto pairing. So that's where I got him
going. I like it.
Yeah. And then last guy we got, Nelson Cruz, who for my money has the biggest market of any player, I think, in free agency maybe ever now, as a guy who's just a DH.
Yep.
I think you have a very short list of teams who don't need a DH.
Yeah.
So
if the NL goes DH.
Yeah, and we're assuming the NL is going in DH in a lot of our picks here, but I can't, every NL team is going to drive up the price on a Nelson Cruz. A proven bat, and who cares? He's something. Nobody gives a shit. Like he's a proven bat. He's going to keep doing it. Every stop on the road, he keeps doing it. As long as you don't have to put him in the outfield, you're fine. And for that reason, I have him becoming the first designated hitter in the history of the Miami Marlins. I think they have a very young team. I think they have a team that is eager to get offense in.
Yep.
That's why earlier I had them making a play for, but not getting Castellanos. And Nelson Cruz will end up being their guy, their veteran leadership. for all intents and purposes, he spent the last half season in Tampa Bay with the Rays.
Yep.
He enjoyed it. Move a little bit further south in Florida, still no income tax, so that paycheck's going to hit a little bit extra. And it's a team that has playoff aspirations now. They've done the rebuild. They've been through the wars. They're ready to start winning. And Nelson Cruz is the kind of guy who can impart wisdom while also helping flip.
I really do like that pick. I really do. But I think he stays in Florida with the Tampa Bay Rays. I think the Rays give him another 1-year deal. The Rays know they still need a hit. He can drive in runs for them.
Okay.
The only way to compete with the East right now. And
yeah.
You got to hit.
Here's the thing. I liked him staying with the Rays, but my issue with it was I feel the NL getting a DH would price the Rays out.
Yes.
That was my only fear with
that. I think there's another team that could price the Rays out, and I think it would be a little reunion for them. I think Seattle. They play in a dome.
I could see that, yeah.
I can see that. He's familiar with them. They need a little, what I'm saying? They want to compete. I think he would help that lineup out real big.
Oh, for sure. I love that. All right, man. So we're going to move on now to our post game. And you know what we do here on the No Bull Just Ball podcast.
Extra innings.
Extra innings indeed. So we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna call bull. We're gonna call ball. And this week I'm calling bull, and I am calling bull specifically on the New York Yankees because I had the New York Yankees as contenders in my head for all of these free agents. But when it came time to put pen to paper, I could not justify in my head, or not justify is the wrong word. I could justify the Yankees giving contracts to most of these guys. I could not in my head see the current Yankees regime doing it. And specifically, I'm taking issue with them not signing a shortstop. In the greatest shortstop class, free agent wise, that we have ever seen in the history of baseball.
Right.
Yankees are a team with the most glaring need at the position in baseball. And so far, we have watched Simeon, Seager, Baez all sign. And now we're hearing reports that the Yankees might not be in on Correa or Story.
Yes.
Because they're waiting for their prospects to develop and might go stopgap in this form of either Jose Iglesias or Andrelton Simmons.
Or I think or Gio. I think they might. I think Gio's been working out a lot to play shortstop. I
love me some Gio Urshela.
I do. Gio has a nice glove, has a nice arm. Until some of the prospects are ready, which might be sooner than we actually think.
I'm just saying, and you and I don't know that we totally agree on this, but I'm a firm believer that if you are going with one of these Gio Urshela, you're going with Simmons, you're going with Iglesias, you're going with some other sort of, past their prime veteran to play stopgap, you're implying that one of those prospects is going to be ready by the fall.
No.
And you have to, because otherwise, this is not a championship. You need a guy who can play shortstop.
No,
shortstop
we saw last year that the Yankees didn't want to be a championship team.
Well, that's the thing is, okay, so then what are we doing?
They're waiting for these shortstops to come up. I don't know what we're doing anymore as Yankees fans, man. I don't know. This is a tough time for us.
So this is why I'm calling bull.
I call bull on the Yankees too, man. Fuck them.
This is ridiculous. This is a team who, has those championship aspirations. You're a playoff team perennially. You need an important position. They're available, and you're balking now. I don't understand it, and for that reason, I'm going to call ball. And I think we're going to call bull on that, and you're going to call ball because we need some positivity right now. Go ahead.
I will, and here's some good positivity. And the only way you can get some good positivity out is with a big old wepa. Roberto Ortiz. I don't know why it took this long for the first Puerto Rican born umpire to make it to the major leagues. We've had a lot of good players, a lot of great coaches that know ball that haven't made it to the majors. that can call the game. Why did it take Roberto Ortiz? But hey, he's balling now. Let's see.
Absolutely. I love it.
I'm liking it.
So here's my thing. One, Puerto Rican with the first name Roberto. That's already pressure in baseball. That's just objectively pressure. Now you add to it first Puerto Rican umpire. Oh my goodness. That the pressure is on, and I'm a firm believer the best referee, umpire, official in any sport is the one you never have to know the name of as a fan.
I think I'm the only one that actually knows this right now. To be honest.
For sure. So that's what I'm saying. If he becomes just a regular in the mouths of fans, if he becomes a Joe West or an Angel Hernandez, oh my God.
No. I think one upside is Joe West is gone. Angel Hernandez is thinking about it. But
for sure,
now you have a good young kid coming in. He's older than me. And a nice young guy coming in that knows the game, can call the game. Let's get more of us in here.
Here we are. All right, man. That was a great place to end it. Truly enjoyed the chat. So for us here, it has been real. It has been nice. It has been real nice. And we will be back with you next week. Thank you so much for joining us. Alex, say goodbye to the good folks at home.
Stay breezy.
Retweet. Have a good one, guys.